The statistics show that. So many young people are working for these farmers, which itself would create opportunities for more respect as well. Hi, my name is Sam Marwood and I'm the co-founder and managing director of Cultivate Farms. And we work with retirement age farmers to find solutions where they can age on farm and transition ownership of their farm to a family that they respect. The purpose of this presentation is to demonstrate to retirement age farmers that there are many options out there to staying on and aging on your farm. We've been working with Maria Berry from Northeast Victoria, who's a voice for older Australians and particularly for retiring farmers. And Maria has been involved with an event called Embolden, which is the driver behind this presentation. And we have had some great discussions and looking to collaborate more about how we can support farmers aging on farm. And I wanted to answer a question and provide a case study that comes off the back of the Embolden event, which focuses on supporting older Australians. And the question is, are rural communities better than city communities at demonstrating respect for older people and looking after older people? So I'm not sure how to measure amount of respect, but I can make some observations, having grown up on a farm, lived in Melbourne for 15 years, now back in a rural community and also working every day with the retirement age farmers with our business, Cultivate Farms. And I think the difference with the city and the country in regards to respect for older people is the level of interaction. In the city, you choose who you want to hang out with. I definitely did that in Melbourne, and usually this is people of your own age. While in farming communities and having grown up on a farm, because the number of people in the community is less than in the city, and you're physically next to different types of people who are your neighbours who you need to work with, the opportunity and the need to interact with people of all ages is constantly there. And because of this constant interaction, I believe rural communities do have a greater respect for older generation. Young people have the opportunity to mingle, interact and learn from older generation, something that's just not as regular in the city. I think about footy clubs and just farming events is an intermingling of ages, and from that intermingling can build relationships and that respect. And also, I think that farms are owned by the older generation. The statistics show that. So many young people are working for these farmers.
Even so, though, Judy, I know that you and Charlie are still, thinking about the future of the farm and what's going to happen with your farm, which is, of course, what we're talking about today. The farm has been in the family for 4 generations, but your own kids don't want to take over the farm, do they?
No, our son already has the farm, and we have 2 daughters, and no, they're not interested in the farm.
How long has it been sort of part of the future planning that you've been aware that the kids weren't going to come back?
Oh, look, we've known that for a long time. We had for the past 15 years until earlier this year. We had a guy working for us who we've encouraged him to get some land, which he did do. But then he resigned, so that sort of left us without anywhere to go. We sort of thought, well, what are we going to do now? Are we going to sell? Are we going to work for 2 years, 10 years or whatever? And it just happened that at that time there was an article in the Bendigo Advertiser about Cultivate Farms. And the guy that runs Cultivate Farms, I used to teach. His family lived in this area, so we've known his grandparents and his parents and all his siblings and kids, and it was just really spooky that happened. So I ended up contacting Sam and said, this is what's happened. We need help to see where we're going to go or guidance on what we can do. So we talked quite regularly with Sam and told him basically what we wanted, which was somebody eventually to take over the running or just, to keep the dream alive as far as my husband's concerned. Yeah. That's been happening for many years because I said he's in his middle 70s and he's no longer 10 foot high and bulletproof. So we started talking with Sam and we actually decided that we'd probably do something like go through him. He's sort of a matchmaker between the wannabe farmer and the financier, and we thought this is just such a brilliant idea and a great opportunity for us. So he actually advertised our farm and we had spoken and certainly looked at several people and even organised to have somebody come and visit us that was interested in our farm. And we had a phone call from a guy who used to work on our farm, and who I also used to teach. And he had lived in this area, and he'd actually shorn on our farm and had moved away. And he saw it advertised on Cultivate Farms, and he put our area together with a description of the farm, and he got us and rang us up and said, you know, is that your farm that's on Cultivate Farms? And we said, yeah. And he said, I'm really interested. So because we'd started to go through the process with Sam, we then made contact with this other fellow who came up here and was with our first meeting that we had with Sam and one of his partners. And he and his wife came up to that meeting, and he's employed here. And at the moment, because things are really tough, we're sort of basically paying a salary, but eventually we'll go into a percentage of the profit things and then into a sort of a buy scheme.
Which itself would create opportunities for more respect as well. And we at Cultivate Farms are encouraging younger generations to get to know and provide value to retirement age farmers, specifically for them as a way to find a pathway to farm ownership by this idea of helping farmers to age on farm. So it's a benefit to the younger farmers because it's a pathway to their farm, but it's a real benefit to the aging farmers as well, who probably can't do as much as they'd like to and still got big visions for the farm where they can work and co-own a property, their property, with a couple they really respect, and both of those parties can see the farm go to the next level. So aging on farm and how we are respecting older farmers. So Cultivate Farms has developed this concept of aging on farms, and our main message with this concept is to emphasise to retiring farmers that you don't have to sell and walk away from your farm. I think that is just so powerful. If we can get more farmers to think like this, we're confident we can go a long way to rejuvenating regional communities. We believe the knowledge that you can age on farm is a particularly inspiring message for farmers who don't have kids to hand the farm onto, or whose kids don't want the farm. This is a common message we're hearing from many farmers across the country, and we get how intertwined your life gets with your farm and intertwined with who you are, and you put so much into the land, and the idea of walking away after so many years is hard. It was hard for our family, and I'll talk about my story in a minute, but we want to promote that you can remain on your farm as long as you like and be involved as much as you want. You've got an asset, which is a farm, which thousands of next generation farmers that we're always talking to, they would give their right arm to be involved in it somehow. So if you're willing to share ownership, which is the key point, and with a high quality family or farming family or farmer, then there are many solutions out there that can be found to meet your goals for your farm. We know sharing ownership is a tricky concept for many farmers to think about, especially when farms have been handed on from many generations. So the idea of that sharing is a tough one, but there are some really creative solutions to get around any issues you might have around sharing ownership. But we think this concept of sharing ownership is a massive carrot to ensure that you're attracting the very best next generation farmers and give you maximum chance of finding a really great farmer that you get along with and respect and want to partner with. So about Cultivate Farms, we started Cultivate Farms a number of years ago to solve a problem for ourselves. So Tim and Tegan Hicks are the co-founders with myself, and we all wanted to own a farm, but because we weren't going to inherit the farm, so both our farms, so Tim's family farm and my family farm, were sold before we got into the farming world. So we knew that we weren't going to be farmers. We weren't going to own a farm because inheriting is the usual pathway to owning a farm. So sadly, this is the mindset of thousands of farmers or potential farmers across Australia like ourselves, is that they know unless they inherit, they're not going to be able to buy a farm because they're expensive, and saving to buy an expensive thing takes time, which means you're running out of time to go buy it. And we think this is a bad thing for regional Australia. Probably the number one reason for regional Australia's decline is that this carrot of ownership, or this knowledge that you can own a farm, is not in the mindset of the next generation. So they move on and get a job elsewhere and don't follow their greatest passion of farming. So we think this is the biggest issue in regional Australia that we're solving. It is access to capital to buy a farm. And the solution took a while to find. We spent many years trying to understand how we can provide this solution for ourselves and others. We realised it's all centred around relationships. So we're a matchmaking service that connects people who want to own a farm together, specifically aspiring farmers and retiring farmers. We've made 9 matches in the last 18 months with 25 farms on a database right now at cultivatefarms.com/farms. And we've got nearly 1,000 aspiring farmers on our database, all who want to realise their farm ownership dreams. And again, you can see all those profiles on our website. So specific options for ageing on farm. So there are plenty of technical solutions for how a transition of ownership might happen, and also plenty of ways to minimise risk to make sure you actually have someone that you get along with and are willing to share ownership with. There's lawyers and accountants and advisors out there who do this every single day. The biggest issue is knowing you have somebody you're willing to transition ownership to and have built a relationship, which is what we focus on. But we've created a lot of content around ideas on how transition could work. There's a blog post here that I've posted in the transcript on our website around farm transition options, which outlines 6 standard options around lease to buy, vendor finance, equity shareholding arrangements. There's so many creative ways. We're trying to emphasize to people that don't get bogged down in the technical side of things. That's how we can help and how others around you can help. Predominantly think about what you want for your farm, find a farmer, we can help you with that, and then together you can work out a solution that wins for both of you, because every situation is different, every farm is different. So to help you to figure out what ageing on a farm might look like for you, we've developed a number of questions, so 7 questions that I'll go through now, that you can ask yourself and your family so you can unpack what that journey might look like and what you might be for you to step back and co-farm with somebody else, so you can stay on farm. So one is, do you want to own the land 100% forever and ensure your kids have ownership? Whether the answer is yes or no, there's still ways to make it happen. It could be also that you do share ownership, but your family have first rights to buy the land back again after a certain amount of time from that farming family. If you don't want to own it, do you eventually want to be bought out? Number 3, what timeline do you want to be involved in the farm? So do you want to stay on for a set amount of time or forever? Or again, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of unpacking what you want. Number 4, how much involvement do you want in the farming? You can still be involved and overseeing. You become the chairperson rather than the CEO. How often do you want to visit the farm? So do you want to stay on the farm or do you want to live in town and come in every now and then? What are you most nervous about with the potential of sharing farm ownership? Understanding that is key, and you can, again, always find solutions to work around them. And do you have financial pressures, number 7, which mean you have to receive a certain level of return if you do stay involved, i.e. would getting a guaranteed a minimum amount up front or each year be required to make this deal happen? Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just knowing that. So those 7 questions together will help you frame what it is you need to be able to age on farm, if that is your goal. And now it's just a matter of writing that down, getting familiar with it, and finding a farmer to be matched with that can help you realise that vision. We think there's so many benefits of ageing on farm, and I've listed a number here. Ranging from personal benefits around you can realise the vision of your farm to the community benefits, where you're staying involved in the community. You can join the football or netball board and be part of the community and do the things you may have wanted to have done for a while but were tied up on the farm. So retaining your presence in the community while also bringing a new family in, it's just so powerful for that community to thrive. And imagine if 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 farms in a community had that arrangement happening. The schools would be thriving and the community would be buzzing. That's our vision. So we encourage you to think about this concept of ageing on farm because there are so many benefits. So a case study. So the Hockings in north of Bendigo in Victoria, they're on 1,500 hectares. Judy and Charlie Hocking. I've known Judy for a number of years. She actually taught me in primary school. And they're in their 70s and they wanted help to find a farmer to share ownership with. And they're going on the journey now. And Regional Voices, who do a communications organisation, and they do a lot of podcasts in farming world, interviewed Judy a little while ago. And here's an excerpt from it. And I think it's best to hear from Judy around why they got involved in the benefits. And you can listen to the full thing. There's a link there to their presentation. So how to go about exploring on farm. So we encourage every farmer to think about those 7 questions I went through before to unlock what is your vision for your farm. And if the outcome is that you would like to share ownership, know that there's your plan of attack, and you can work backwards from there to find you a great farmer, and then the technical and legal arrangements to make it all work. This, I think, is so powerful for farmers who don't have kids to hand on to, or whose kids don't want it, or maybe their kids don't want it for a little while. You can do it. It's absolutely possible. So please do reach out if something like this is something you want to explore. We can send you profiles of aspiring farmers that might meet your criteria, so you can get your eye in for who is out there and what quality they are, and also just get in touch. We're happy to chat anytime. Cheers. Thank you for your attention and for watching this video. Click here or somewhere to watch more of our videos. If you're new here, please do subscribe. We want more of your attention. We want to get you inspired to get onto your farm. Let's get you farming.